Got a Red Bull here. Let me crack that before we go. Aha. All right, just 1 second before we go. I've got 2 screens to put up that I had not put up before. Get those up and we're ready here to go. There we go. Got them set. Test. Oh, I thought I heard myself in the other room. Oh, helps if I hit record. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the new media production studio. Lead stories tonight. Well, Jeff Bezos is out of Amazon. Woz is saying he is fighting for the right to repair gear. The United States has offered Julian Assange a deal. And the Russians are going to finally launch a very, very, very long overdue space lab to the International Space Station. I want to welcome you to episode 1538 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, July 8th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking the show out for the very first time. And make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Subscribe to the show while you're on there. Sign up for our newsletter as well. Our newsletter contains everything that I'm going to talk about during the show today. It will be delivered immediately to your inbox after the show. So once you accomplish those two things, you've joined the Ohana. But you can also join our chat room at geeknews.chat. That's a Mastodon chat server or Discord. If you want to be on our Slack channel, that's real easy too. All you got to do is send me an email to geeknews@gmail.com. And of course, I'm on Twitter at Geek News. That's a great way to stay up with me. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook and all of our partner shows, whether it be the GNC Week in Review, the Gadget Professor, Mr. Don Bain, the Pro Gear website, the new media show. All those are linked at geeknewscentral.com. Follow or subscribe to all those podcasts. We definitely appreciate when you do. Thank you for being a fan and joining the club here and joining our family of listeners. Again, of course, this show is supported by the longest-running continuous sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy.com. We want you to support them because they support us. They keep the lights on, keep my insurance fed, especially the air conditioning right now. Holy cow. They definitely have needed that. So, yeah, all my deals, again, are at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. All those July deals, whether they be 30% off a new product purchase of $4.99.com, on new or transferred domains for new customers only, or the absolute best podcast hosting deals in space, whether it be $1 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain or $1 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. All of these codes are available at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You save a lot of money. Save a ton of money. I got a great deal, too, with the free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal business or business plus plans. That's a 1-month free trial. But again, those $1 a month economy hosting and $1 a month managed WordPress hosting, you get a domain name with them. And again, $12 gets you off the ground, get you started with a podcast, with a blog, a Rona-proof next career or next, some sort of business. Get her done. Get over there. Support this show. Definitely appreciate when you do. And we share your codes, my codes, with your friends, family members, people that you know. Maybe people are finally going back to the office and meeting for the first time. You have written a check to the show. Sharing that code and having them use it is just writing a donation to the podcast. And we want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. Now, I did have an email that came in 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, from Near. He was having some challenges with GoDaddy. My initial contact at the office of the president, which has now changed to the office of the CEO of GoDaddy, had changed. So I had to go through my channels. But anyway, got near connected with that team. They're working together to make sure they can do a call with him in Israel, figure out the time zone thing. And Near's made it itself available at times that GoDaddy tech support is open. So hopefully we'll get some resolution, some updates there. But GoDaddy is a great company. And if you have problems with them and you're a listener of this show, all you got to do is email me. We'll get you connected with the right people over there, get your thing corrected. But we want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at Geek News Central. Of course, again, man, oh man, without them, this really would not be possible. So let's just talk just a little bit before we get into the show. And, the news is slow. Everyone's on vacation. Some of you are still on vacation. And if you're watching today live, whether it be on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, on the Geek News Central website, whatever it may be at live.geeknewscentral.com, make sure you say hello. We want to know that you're here. Yep, there should be a way to invent where I can keep talking while I'm drinking, but I guess humanly that's not possible. Pounding this Red Bull I have sitting here. No iced tea tonight. I ran out. So what's been going on? Of course, I was off Monday because of the 4th of July holiday. Really, the news was bleh. So really, it was insanely hot. A little bit of rain, a little bit of thunderstorms here and there. My sister was gone the entire time with her family, moving my niece into Manhattan. They've got her all settled down. They all dragged their butts back in here yesterday looking like they just spent 7 days moving, which they did. And but for me, Tuesday, come in the office on Tuesday, I had 600 plus emails in my inbox. People mad that I wasn't responding on Monday during what we take as a holiday here in the United States. But I think I ended up last night with about 180, or Tuesday night, about 180 still in my inbox. And I was able to knock them all out and get them done Wednesday. But things have been kind of crazy here. We've got a lot going on. Got a lot of stuff going on in the business, a lot of stuff we're getting ready to launch, a lot of stuff that we're planning on marketing stuff for. So it's nose to the grindstone because it's just going to be a short few weeks before I get ready to go to Nashville to go to Podcast Movement. And I'm going to be in Nashville. So any of you that are in the Nashville area, let me know because I believe I arrive. Let me look at the calendar here. I believe I arrive Sunday the 1st of August. And I've got meetings planned on the 2nd, 3rd. Actually, maybe going out to the Jack Daniels Brewery. May have a special deal to go out there. We'll see. But if you're in the Nashville area and you're part of the Ohana, I would love to meet up with you while we're down in the Nashville area. So just give me a shout out if you're a listener down there. And we'll have one of our first meetups in a long time. But I do want to thank those of you that have sent me some email suggestions. I'll go over a couple of those today on what's going on with my allergy or whatever it is that is causing me great insanity. So I'll let you know. And I talked about that in the last sale. But I have to mention something. There's you guys know about Gander. Gander sells RVs and they sell camping gear, and they have a clothes section in the one I have here in this town. I'm not really one to shop sales because it's usually like stuff that is held over from the season. But they've had an absolutely insane deal here where you can get Carhartt jackets 60 to 75% off. You can get, it's an insane sale. I've never seen anything like it. So I picked up a rain jacket, picked up a light winter coat, picked up a Carhartt jacket for the winter, and it was like $100 for 3 things. And shirts for like $12. Crazy sale. So I don't know if they have a Gander in your area. If they do, if they're making room they're telling me they're making room for an upscale line of clothing. And I'm like, some of the stuff they got in there right now, Columbia and that type of stuff for golfers, that's all upscale already with an upscale price. I miss going to Vegas and going to the PGA store and getting polo shirts. So when I go to Vegas in October for the National Association of Broadcasters conference, no matter which gate I get off of, because I won't be flying in. Well, actually, because of some things going on, I may actually be flying in from Honolulu. So I might hit the right exact gate because I have to go back to Honolulu the week before Vegas to get a mole removed from the back of my back. And I'm going to leave Hawaii and go straight into Vegas. So that's probably going to work out. So anyway, that's kind of cool. Be able to hit the PGA store and get some deals. That's the best place to find discounted polo shirts, and some of mine are looking pretty ragged. You guys don't want to hear about clothes. You want to hear about tech. So going to catch you up. Hey, Gary, how you doing? Hey, you know something here? One thing I got going on with this show is a lot of my shipmates from the Navy that I either worked with or flew with, or people that I maybe done a variety, maybe we were stationed in the same place, but by the brotherhood of being in those squadrons and stuff. So, Gary, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming. I hope you're doing good, brother. And yeah, I want to come down. I want to come to the next reunion. It just didn't work out this year, but hopefully I'll be able to get to the next one. But yeah, so anyway, a lot of my Navy guys, Navy buddies, all kind of tune in once in a while. So I definitely appreciate it when they're here. I miss that camaraderie sometimes because it's just like one big family, All right, well, enough reminiscing. So let's get into the tech stack that I've got here. And Bezos, he's out. He's done. Now he can go fly his rocket ship and not have to have the insurance company squeal. But Andy Jassy, who ran Amazon's cloud computing business, which is a big part. My company spends a big amount of money, 5 figures with Amazon AWS every month, has replaced Bezos in charge of the company. Of course, Bezos still is the Amazon's biggest shareholder. He has about $180 billion worth of ownership there. But Jassy takes the helm of the $1.7 trillion company. And so they're on the move. So new face over there. And we'll see what happens now with Amazon, and if there's any type of change at Amazon. So we'll see what happens here with this. But, remember, if you think back to when Bezos founded Amazon as an online bookstore, when I wrote my book in 2004 and released in 2005, Amazon book business was relatively small at the time. And I was pretty honored in those early years to have been one of their top 10 tech books that sold, and won some awards from Amazon, got a big fat flaming young. Actually, I got 2 because they were about, they were about a little smaller than a small hamburger. So I had 2 flaming youngs on Amazon back in those days, and along with the award from the New York Times. But it's just amazing where that company has come from. Its humble beginnings, and now they're just such a dominant force. And many of us spend thousands of dollars on Amazon with Amazon products on a yearly basis. So we'll see what happens. Very interesting article over on the BBC where Apple founder Steve Wozniak is saying he backs the right to repair movement. He says the movement wants laws passed to guarantee users access to information and parts to repair their own devices. Woz says, we wouldn't have had an Apple had I not grown up in a very open technology world. Of course, Woz is his co-founder with Steve Jobs, and he says it's time to recognize the right to repair more fully. And I agree. I've got a background in electronics. I'm pretty handy with the soldering iron, with a really good one. And, I'm capable of fixing stuff. And, sometimes I take stuff apart and I can actually get it back together again. Not always. But, I've done my best over the years. And, it's like I've got a MacBook here that's battery is getting just a tad side on, needing to be replaced. And I really don't want to send it back to Apple and have them do it. I'd much rather just change the battery myself. But being the way things are, I'm going to have to pay the money to have them do it, which is stupid. Why can't I just replace the battery? And it's the same thing with cars and modules and stuff like that. The car part I need to make my Wi-Fi work in my vehicle is still not in. So maybe that'll get fixed sometime next year. But I think what we also have to realize, people are getting a lot smarter about stuff, and they want to make it last longer. They really do. If you look at iPhones, for example, you still can get an iPhone 12, is it 11, 10? You can get older models of the iPhone brand new. Not reworks, brand new. You don't have to go all the way to the current model. You can get an older model, spend a little less money, and it's a perfectly good phone. And, I've handed down phones to my son, and unfortunately, he broke the one I handed down to him here recently, and it was cost a lot to get it repaired, so it was a lesson learned for him because, teenagers will break 2 or 3 phones. But when you have to spend your own money for a brand new one, he was kind of shocked. He's like, wow. But what was amazing was they were able to trade in one of the older iPhones that we had laying in a drawer and get like $400 credit. It was just sitting there, wasn't ever going to be used again. And it probably get recycled or whatever with Verizon. So I think that we have the ability, and again, that wasn't a repair situation, but how much stuff do we have that wish we could repair? Televisions are largely throwaway. Refrigerators are largely throwaway because they don't last like they used to. We need to have more of this stuff where we can repair without having to put it out on the curb and have it hauled away and go to the landfill. But, the companies that make stuff don't want us to repair stuff. They want us to buy new. So I'm fully supporting what Woz is saying is this right to repair movement. I think it's important. And I commend any of you that actually go and have equipment repaired. There's a lot of people that do that in a lot of communities, and especially overseas. There's guys that have little shops all over the place. All they do is fix electronics. That's their life. This next article kind of blew me away. The United States is offering Julian Assange time in Australian prison instead of an American supermax if he loses a London extradition fight. Appeal against his January decision to be heard by the High Court. This was an appeal that's made by the U.S. Department of Justice, and it offered Assange a deal that would keep him out of the cruel U.S. supermax prisons. The High Court this morning granted the United States permission to appeal against a ruling by Westminster Magistrates Court that Assange couldn't be extradited because he would commit suicide. That was the only thing that kept him from being extradited. As he said he would kill himself if he was going to be handed over to Americans. So the United States has gained permission to appeal this on 3 grounds, including a deal that he would not be sent to a federal supermax in Colorado, or being automatically subject to extra harsh punishment within prison. And the United States has also provided assurance that the United States will consent to him being transferred to Australia to serve any custodial sentence imposed upon him. So here's the question. Now, so we know this, so you guys know where this falls politically, just so we're square on this. Those of you that, oh my God, this guy should not go to jail, because some of you are in that vote. This appeal was started with the new administration. They have no regrets about continuing a long-running feud against him. So we've got some people that listen to the show down in Australia. So I'm kind of curious, are Australian prisons a little nicer, or what's the skinny? Why would it be better for him to serve that in an Australian prison versus a U.S. prison? Now, if they don't send him to a supermax, I'm kind of curious what the specialty of being in Australia is for him. question is, they must have made a deal with Australia already to do this. That's the only thing I can think of, or they wouldn't have offered that up. So, The U.S. says you got to go to jail for 20 years, and oh, by the way, we're going to put you in an Australian prison versus the United States one. I wonder how much that's going to cost us. Now, here's the news that kind of blew me away. I forgot completely about this. Now, we've been talking about, and as a matter of fact, I did some searches on the website tonight before I started the show. We've been talking about this Russian addition to the International Space Station all the way back in 2007. Now, this show, think about that. This show's been around since 2004. The last time I checked is 2007. That's 14 years ago, because that's when this multi-purpose laboratory module from the Russian was supposed to go up in space. It's had some contamination of its fuel. They've had some long costs of replacement. They had to upgrade it 2 or 3 times because the tech got it. It's been 14 years. But they say they're going to punch this thing. They're going to punch it to space on a Proton M booster. And the Russians will have a module where they can have a room and a laboratory and all other kinds of stuff. So finally, July 21st, we're going to launch it from Kazakhstan. So we will see. Do you think they'll be checking that Proton 2 or 3 times with the amount of money they've spent to get this thing ready to go? But it's hard to believe the International Space Station, which originally was said it was going to be deorbited about this time, which is not now. They're extending the life on it, is actually going to get another can put on it. That to me is pretty remarkable. Now the question is, will it work? That's a question. The NASA is doing all kinds of stuff. They've been tracking ominous Siberian wildfire in smoke-filled views from space. More than 250 fires burned across a region of Russia at one time, and it just looks like a complete smoke pit. And for those of you that are interested here, and you can, Russia's big, but look how much smoke. For those of you watching the show, look how much smoke is over the country. It's crazy what's going on over there. So I guess we've got a few droughts going on. Are you tired of getting targeted so much? Be honest with you. I run my ad blocker here on my Mac, and I really get pretty spoiled because when I go to like Safari or something like that, so all of a sudden I'm just hammered again. I'm hammered by all these ads that the ad blocker has a pretty good job doing. But what about media on your mobile devices? So if you're tired of being targeted, MakeUseOf.com has some suggestions on how to minimize target ads on Facebook. They've actually got instructions on how to do this. And Instagram as well, how to turn stuff off. On Twitter, they have a variety of instructions and things you can do to minimize targeted ads. That's the key. You're still going to get ads, but it's not going to be something that you looked at Amazon last night that's going to pop up on Facebook. So be aware. This is an interesting article. I have a long history with Podcast One. I've been in their offices a number of times out in Hollywood. I know their founder, Norm Pattis. Norm is always brags about his front row seats at the Lakers. I think he's got 4 or 5 season seats, and he's right down there, right behind the players. He was the founder of Westwood One back in the day and sold it and made millions. But anyway, Norm he's kind of in the background, I think, now, but there's a new CEO. And when we were at Podcast Movement 2 years ago, they were going to launch this thing called Launchpad, and now it's officially been launched, Launchpad One. It's a free podcast hosting platform, but here's the deal. There's a steep exchange for free hosting, especially because they can run 2 ads against any of your content, and you don't get a penny. Free hosting isn't all that widely available, There's a few out there, but you are usually the product. Now, Anchor, which was bought by Spotify, and Anchor is an app name for this company, hasn't said what cut it takes from its automatically inserted ads with podcasters that they run ads against their content. So, I run a paid hosting company. It's well known by this audience and have for many years. And largely those free offerings have not hurt us business-wise, because free attracts a lot of, how should we say it, experimental stuff, trash. People that aren't vested. They start a show and there's some popular shows over there, but not many. It's a graveyard of dead shows. So Launchpad One, it's kind of interesting that they are, and I know a lot more about this than I can probably say, but they're trying to get podcasters now. So I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening when all these shows come over there and add themselves to this network. So, I'm going to get, I can run my own ads and get paid by my NSV. A pay guy's been able to do that for years, but I'm not going to get paid for the ads they insert in my show. That should be an interesting experience for you, those of you that listen to shows over there anyway. But anyway, that was news today. Google is apparently being sued by 36 attorney generals. And we've got this article over on Geek News Central. This is one of my team members written. Matter of fact, it was written by Jen. But this 36 states and the Washington District of Columbia sued Google on Wednesday in an antitrust suit challenging Google's control over its Android app store. So this sound familiar? Politico reported the suit was filed in California federal court and led by Utah, North Carolina, Tennessee, New York, Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, and Nebraska. According to Politico, the suit is the latest challenge to search engine giants' plan to force all app developers who use its Google Play Store to pay a 30% commission. Now, we know that who else has an app store? Well, Samsung does. And many of you probably don't even know that Samsung has an app store. If you have a Samsung device, they have a Samsung store. And it has very little in it. Allegations about commission rates are a key part of the lawsuit. The Attorney General spent a lot of time dissecting Google's alleged efforts to keep competing app stores at bay, especially Samsung's Galaxy Store. Google is willing to offer Samsung a myriad of benefits and concessions in order to prevent Samsung Galaxy Store from being built out. The store is not as popular as the Play Store, but Google feared that Samsung would develop it into a strong competitor, especially since the company sells a majority of high-end Android phones in the United States. So this is going to be interesting what they're going to do here. And if this is going to move forward at all, I'm at this point kind of questioning whether it will be, because, these big companies continue to have the upper hand in many, many ways. All right, do you have well, let me just ask, ladies and gentlemen out there, are you trying to get pregnant? Are you and your partner or your significant other, are you, looking to have a baby? Well, the FDA has cleared natural cycle birth control to use a smart ring for temperature measurements. So they've got basically some accessory devices that the lady will wear to keep track of her temperature. And basically they'll say, hey, today not fertile. Tomorrow use protection, or, you're in the window. So it's interesting here. This is a new app for that. And there's plenty of apps for that already, but this is a FDA cleared one, again, called Natural Cycles. It's birth control to use a smart ring for temperature. Now, if you're using it for birth control, I would not trust an app for that. But I know some of you can't take birth control, and you maybe are allergic to some of the, the other methods out there. So maybe this is what you have to use. So I understand that, but be careful. Startup Halo will bring driverless car service to Las Vegas later this year on T-Mobile 5G. So Halo is coming to Vegas. Maybe I'll get to ride in one of these. It's potentially a big step toward fulfilling the promise of 5G remote driver tech with a significant catch. The cars don't operate solely on T-Mobile 5G. While it's a primary network, they'll use mid and low-band 5G specifically with LTE as a fallback. Here's a little secret right now. I've been able to experience 5G a few places. And when 5G is being hammered, you can always revert back to some of the other lower spectrum stuff that most people have moved off of. And if you're having challenges watching movies or something, some of those signals are a little bit better for penetration into areas that may not have as good a service for 5G. Maybe you have a 1-bar 5GE, 2-bar LTE, but you might even go back to 3G. And guess what? 3G is still pretty quick when able maybe to watch a movie or something. So this car is using some of that same technology. It's rolling back. But, there's no shortage of driverless and autonomous vehicle pilot programs in Vegas. Lyft has operated a driverless taxi service, and Motional has been testing as well. So it's just one more way to get rid of people that are getting paid to drive people around. Google Pay, and I don't have Google Pay, but they have a new Google Pay debit card. It'll let you actually spend the money people send you. It's a virtual debit card that lets you skip transferring money to the bank. So people can send you money. It'll hold that money virtually. I don't wonder if you earn interest on this. Holds the money virtually on that card, and then you can use it to pay for stuff when you tap your phone. So I used my tap of my credit card today for the first time. Much easier. Hey, start using that tap. Whenever you see the tap signal where you can tap your credit card, my Chase cards all have that tap technology, and it's better than sticking it in the machine and waiting till the card is read. And it was fabulous. Tapped it. I still had to enter my zip code, but tap, boom, it recognized it instantly. It was much faster to get the fuel pump. But we know earlier this year Google blew up the existing Google Pay and started over with a new code base. And, of course, besides the NFC tap and pay functionality, Google Pay also has a peer-to-peer payment that lets you exchange money with other people. So this new initiative plans for a Google bank account that's supposed to launch sometime this year called Google Plex. And they're going to have a full bank, and they're going to have a credit card along with that, or debit card. So, here's the deal. Why is everybody getting into banking business? Because they make a lot of money in the banking business. And anytime they're holding your cash, guess what? They're the ones earning interest on that, because you're not earning interest on any of that money that's sitting there. Not a penny. It's just like PayPal. You don't earn a penny of anything sitting in PayPal. Don't let money sit in PayPal. Former President Trump is using unusual legal argument in his suit against Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. He launched a Hail Mary pass and 3 lawsuits on Wednesday that claim Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube violated the First Amendment by kicking him and others off their service. But here's the challenge, and his legal people know this. The First Amendment is for us and for the government, where they can't restrict our First Amendment. But private companies can do anything. The First Amendment bars censorship by the state. Northwestern University law professor Andrew Koppelman told Yahoo Finance, media platforms are not the state, they're private companies. The president's lawyers know this perfectly well. The lawsuit is a frivolous stunt whose only purpose is to attract attention. So we'll see. They want to do class action status on this, but being it's a First Amendment, then nothing's going to happen. It's probably going to get dismissed. So interesting move. We'll keep an eye on that. Link will be up in the show notes. How many of you know about PetCube? PetCube is making a more affordable treat slinger for your pets. The Bite's Too Light cuts some features, but cost $125. So if you want to give your pet a treat, I don't think it feeds them, does it? It just gives them a little treat. That's pretty expensive to give them a treat. I need a cat feeder that will feed cats for 3, 4, 5 days. Yeah, I know. Some of you don't like cats. The 2 kitties that were here are doing very well at the loft. But if any of you are interested in Pet Cube, a dog treat dispenser, I'd rather give my dog treats by hand. Don't you think they'd be more appreciative? Over on Variety, NFL Twitter expands partnership to include 20-plus Twitter Spaces live audio chats next season. Of course, the NFL and Twitter have been doing business together since 2013. Under the new multi-year deal, the NFL is making a full season commitment to produce exclusive content on Twitter Spaces. The NFL is the first sports league to partner with Twitter to offer sponsored Twitter Spaces with plans for more than 20 spaces for the upcoming 2021 season. So it'll be stuff that's going to happen during the Super Bowl, the draft, during a variety of different games. So we'll see what happens here with this offering, according to Variety. Trekkies, Star Trek The Motion Picture, remember that, gets a 4K remaster from Paramount Plus. So they're going to be working on this. Many of you probably were around and saw the original Star Trek The Motion Picture. Then you may have gotten Star Trek the motion picture by DVD or on VHS. And now they're going to go and do it in 4K. So that wasn't a really good movie per se, but they're going to go ahead and do that. Now, Dodge, I have to love it. Dodge is saying they're not going to make any e-cars. They want their cars called an EV. But the automaker announced its first foray into battery electric vehicles market earlier today as part of an event held in Stellantis, its parent company. The announcement started with Dodge CEO Tim Kunikas declaring the automaker will not sell electric cars, only firm to add it will be instead American e-muscle. After the branding exercise, the company went on to mention the environment only once in his pitch, knowing the company's upcoming EV will tear up the streets, not the planet. So he said, performance made us do it. So trying to make that sound, that's what we all are going to have to get used to here, because if you're going to want a muscle car, you're going to have to buy a classic here soon. And if you have one, you better hang on to it because their value is going to go up. Amazon has locked down some exclusive streaming rights for Universal movies. Films like Jurassic World Dominion will ping-pong between Peacock and Prime Video. They've made some major agreements here to get chunks of movies over an 18-month period. It's things that will go back and forth. So a little bit adding on to, I haven't watched an Amazon Prime Video in a while. Anybody watch anything popular? What are you guys watching on Netflix right now? If you work for Microsoft, well, they're giving employees a $1,500 pandemic bonus. The most non-executive eligible employees, most non-executive employees are eligible. If you've worked there on or before March 31st, 2021, you're going to get $1,500. About 175,000 employees are going to get that. It's going to cost Microsoft $200 million. They did this last year and gave everyone $1,000. So here's an interesting article from Engadget. Their oversight board said Facebook lost. I don't know how you lose something digitally, but lost an important rule for 3 years. And it's about basically the rule on handling the jailing of dissidents. The underlying case stems from an Instagram post about Abdullah Öcalan, in which the posters encourage readers to engage in conversation about Öcalan's imprisonment and the inhumane nature of solitary confinement. As the board notes, Öcalan is a founding member of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, which Facebook has officially designated as a dangerous organization. But Facebook had a rule that allowed discussions about people that were imprisoned not the organizations, and about their treatment. But somehow they lost that rule for 3 years that this discussion was allowed and banned and blocked the speech. You don't think speech isn't being blocked all over the place? I have no idea who the Kurdistan Workers' Party is. Okay, sounds kind of socialist to me, but why are we so afraid now of free speech? Well, why are we so afraid of that? When you stifle free speech, even if it's free speech you don't like, it's kind of dangerous. Doesn't matter the organization. The Taliban still do stuff. Iran still does stuff. They still talk the walk and kind of do all kinds of crazy threats. Why are people being silenced? Facebook had internal guidance created partially as a result of discussion around this imprisonment that they found this policy that they lost. How do you lose a rule? It just goes on and on. Jeep will offer a fully electric 4xe model in every SUV category by 2025. The automaker's current electric vehicles are plug-in hybrids, but they want to bolster its EV lineup. To that end, the company says it will offer a zero-emission, fully electric 4xe model in every category, again, by 2025. The automaker announced its electrification plan as part of its parent company's EV Day 2021 event. Same showcase where we learned Dodge is working on an all-electric muscle car. So, link will be up on that in the show notes. TikTok is testing letting U.S. users apply for jobs with video resumes. About 36 companies are taking part in the test. So, this is interesting. As of today, company has launched a pilot program that allows people in the United States to apply for entry, associate, and senior level positions by tagging videos they upload to the platform using TikTok resume hashtag. You can see a list of the approximately 36 companies that are taking part in the pilot, as well as the jobs they're hiring for. Some of the more notable brands taking place include Shopify, Target, and Detroit Pistons. Applicants have until July 31st to apply for the first set of jobs posted on the platform. There's a lot of people that have TikTok channels that better hope their employers never see. Let alone trying to get a job. What do? You create another TikTok account to do your resume, and then you do your OnlyFans TikTok announcements and stuff on a different one? Is that what you do? Oh, you can already find creators dedicated to helping other TikTok users build their careers. As Gen Z faces uncertain job, there's lots of jobs. You just got to be willing to go to work. Lots of jobs. There's this town. I probably got 25 help wanted signs all over town. I just keep seeing help wanted, help wanted, help wanted. Send your application in. Come and drop your application off. Plenty of jobs out there. People just don't want to work. Universal as well is announcing that their films will make their TV debut on Peacock. Of course, these Universal is owned by Comcast. Starting in 2022, Universal movies will be available on Peacock first instead of on HBO. Wow. Wow. Isn't that interesting? Huh. Those 10 months in between the films will be licensed to around 2 to 3 additional partners, which we've already talked about today. Universal has yet to release a list of additional partners, and it's unclear if HBO is one of them. Variety says that by adopting the segmented TV release schedule, Universal is hoping to avoid oversaturation or making its films seem stale. In addition, streaming platforms are apparently willing to pay top dollar for popular movies these days in an effort to stand out from their ever-increasing number of rivals. Of course, because we all have choices that all want us to pay $9.99 or more a month. This is an interesting. There's a new site called Tube Filter. Never seen this site ever in my life. I'm glad Kirk found it because we're going to add this one to the permanent read list. But Americans now spend more time on TikTok than on YouTube. at least according to analytics firm App Annie's State of the Mobile report. The report found that in the United States, people who use Android phones now spend an average of 24.5 hours. Listen to this number. I told you TikTok created a time machine. This is no doubt. They spend an average of 24.5 hours in TikTok per month. Now, I want you guys to do real quickly, get your calculators out and do 24.5 hours. And, of course, you got to divide that by minutes, 60 minutes. Just remember that each TikTok video is 30 seconds to a minute long. Some people are authorized to go a little longer, but the majority of TikTok videos are 30 seconds to a minute. How many TikTok videos are people watching? There is going to be an epidemic of doctors that do nothing but fix thumbs in the future because people are just flip, 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 flip. I'm guilty. Flip, flip, flip of flipping TikToks. And that's that thumb motion that goes all the time to do that. It's crazy. I watch more YouTube than anything, for sure, at this point. Verizon's making a promise to do 5G service to track phone customers if the FCC approves the MVNO's acquisition. You know, don't you think Verizon would add 5G to track phones customers if they had it? Why would they have to make this promise? It's kind of hollow. Now, TracFone is an MVNO that predominantly uses the Big Red's LTE network. The FCC is yet to greenlight the acquisition. There are a few aspects of the deal the FCC is still looking into. So Verizon and TracFone CEO decided to quell some fears that the FCC expressed since the beginning of the year. Said, we'll bring 5G to TracFone customers. Okay. More consolidation, more consolidation, more consolidation. Those of you that are Nintendo Switch fans, a Nintendo Switch OLED model will go on sale October 8th for $350. It's Nintendo's new Switch, and it is official. So this is going to have a 7-inch 720p OLED display, and so this is probably going to be a very hot seller for the Christmas season, especially with an OLED screen. But it's kind of sad. It's only $720. Other than the new screen, the revised model includes an adjustable stand for tabletop play, 64 gigs of built-in storage, up from 32, a new dock with a weird Ethernet port built in, and improved audio and handheld or table playback. Nintendo only mentions up to 1080p via HDMI and TV mode for the TV dock, so the rumored 4K model is not available. So, anyway, I know my son is a big Nintendo Switch fan. So, here's going to be the weirdest story of the night. You know, when dinosaurs were around, dinosaurs were big. And dinosaurs pooped a lot. And, of course, they had great medical back in those days, right? They were getting shots and stuff to make sure they didn't have parasites or anything in them. Well, fossilized dinosaur, yes, let me say this again. Fossilized dinosaur poop reveals 230 million year old treasure. And guess what it is? Bugs. Beetles. So using X-ray, they're able to get magnificent detail of these beetles that they found in dinosaur fossilized poop. Will they ever be doing that for us? No, because all of our poop gets processed, at least here, maybe not in some countries, but I don't, is there going to be looking at human fossilized? God, unbelievable. There's a company called Nothing Ear. The Nothing Ear earbuds are set to be announced on July 27th, $99. And the feature active noise cancellation. The company's founder, Carl Pei, told TechCrunch each earbud will be equipped with 3 mics to enable ANC. The company says it will be released initially in the UK, into Europe, and North America following announcement on July 27th. So another earbud on the market, one of the millions. Airbnb has blocked tens of thousands of partiers in COVID crackdown. Basically, they've been turning down reservations. 50,000 in 15 U.S. cities, 7,000 in Dallas, 6,000 in San Diego, 5,100 in Charlotte, 3,500 in St. Louis, 3,000 in Columbus, 2,700 in New Orleans. So they basically blocking people from making bookings because people are using Airbnb to have a party house in cities that were locked down. And it's even worse in U.S., Canada, UK, and France. So they believe the ban worked. What do you care? It's just amazing to me. And finally tonight, Google boots 9 apps from the Play Store for stealing Facebook passwords. They were spread as harmless apps, and most of them were downloaded at least 50,000 times. So link will be in the show notes, and I'm sure the list of banned apps will be there. Here's the funny thing. My geeknews at Gmail account, I've got 811 emails in that inbox. So if you have written me in the last couple of days, I do apologize for not being able to respond. But I do want to thank Rob for sending me an email and talking about some other products for my challenges I'm having here with my allergy or whatever it is. And everyone else has written to me. And again, I'm behind. So if you've written me in the last couple of days, I do apologize. There is no, I haven't just got through the email. And, but again, I did get an email from Rob as well. Said, hey, Todd, the other day you discussed Getter. I had tried to load the app. They never sent me an email to validate my account. It could be a thing with the beta set. Maybe July 4th will be solved. Could it be my Canadian email address? Could it be my occasional shots at Trump on Twitter? Am I on their blacklist? LOL. Time will tell. I won't lose any sleep over it. And Rob, I also don't know if this could be caused by gypsy moths. What's going on with me? So, and thank you for all your suggestions as well. I definitely appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to bring me to the end of the show. Geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. Of course, I'm on Twitter @geeknews. It's my pleasure to bring you the show here. Very, very busy times coming up. I mean, the pace is going to start ramping up very, very rapidly. And all the way through probably the middle of October. Probably, it's going to be a bit of being bada boom here, real busy through at least the 17th or 18th of October. Then things will start slowing down. Of course, it'll be getting cold again here. But next stop is Nashville. Then I'm going to be going out to Salt Lake City. And then I'm going to be in Atlanta. And then ultimately back in Vegas. And then some trips down to Columbus. And who knows what else there's going to be thrown at us here. But I hope everyone's staying safe and being good. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Watch over everyone. And watch for the knock on the door. They're coming for you. You guys heard about that, right? So it's true. They're going to go after anyone that hasn't been vaccinated yet. They're going to go door to door until you get your vaccination. So I know some of you might not be too pleased with that, but that's what the government says they're going to do. So be careful. And who you answer your door from. It might be Uncle Sugar there waiting to take you to get your vaccine. Come on, comrade. You do not have your papers. You must go get a shot. Okay. End of the show. Everyone take care. Be safe. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend. This short week. If you had been on vacation, I hope you took me with you on vacation. If not, I'm here later for you to listen. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.